Mitro, Research Scholar, Computer Science and Engineering Department, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, University of Technology, West Bengal. Today topic name, Holistic Development, Role of Education. Speaker, Professor Dr. Sriyankar Acharya. Before get started, we have announcement for the participant. A Google form will be shared through chat box. Kindly fill up the form and submit it. Link will be available till 6:30 p.m. If you have any question, you can post through the chat box, or our honorable speaker will address your question after the presentation. Now, without further delay, I am going to introduce our eminent speaker, Professor Sriyankar Acharya. Dr. Sriyankar Acharya obtained MTech and PhD in Computer Science and Engineering from Calcutta University. He worked in Baba Atomic Research Center as scientist from 1989 to 1995. Then he was reader in physics at Vivekananda College, Kolkata, and reader in computer and system science at Vishwabharati University, Shantiniketan. At present, he is professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, University of Technology, West Bengal. His current area of research is meta-heuristic search, combinatorial optimization, scheduling, soft computing, artificial intelligence, and bioinformatics. Thank you, sir, for coming. I would like to request you, sir, please start the session. Hello, sir. Sir, hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You are audible.
Okay. Thank you. So, welcome to my students. Today's topic is holistic development and role of education. So, let us first clarify the term holistic development. What is the meaning of holistic? This term has come from whole, W-H-O-L-E, but W is missing here. So it tells about the entirety of a system, not part of a system. Development is not partial development, it's holistic development, means all-round development, complete development in this sense. So from education, we expect the complete development, not partial development. But the current scenario is that this is not happening because we are partially developed, not completely, holistically developed. So what is the role of future education system so that we can get holistic development out of it? Holistic development gives you perfection. So a man is perfect when his knowledge and action all are perfect. So when the knowledge is perfect, the man is able to know the absolute truth. That is the actual perfection. So when a man is holistically developed, his knowledge will be of the absolute truth. He will be able to know the absolute truth, and it is expected that he will overcome all the miseries, all sufferings, depression, etc. So he will be always joyful. He will be under bliss and peace. Okay. But this sounds very theoretical. You may ask that, is it possible? Such development is possible in life. That a man is perfect, he knows the absolute truth by which he can overcome all the sufferings and miseries of life. Is it possible? So whether it is possible or not, we cannot derive it through theoretical derivation. It is not possible to derive theoretically, but its truthfulness will be tested with respect to Example. Now the question is there any person who is holistically developed? If there are such persons, then holistic development is possible. So a man of perfection, what he tells, let us see what a man of perfection says. That man of perfection is Rishi of our country. Srinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putra Aje Dhamani Divyani Tasthu Vedahametang Purushang Mahantam Aditya Varanang Tamasa Parastat Tameva Viditvati Mrityumeti Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayanaya Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayanaya Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayanaya. It was translated by another man of perfection, Rabindranath Thakur, in Bengali. So that is through a song. So I am just singing some lines of it. Shono shono surolokobasi amriter je acho santan janiachi sei avinashi jyotirmaya purusha mohan tapana varana jini আধারের পারে তিনি যাহারে জানিয়া জীব মরণ এড়ায় নিস্তার লাভের আর নাহিরে উপায়. So what the man of perfection is saying, he is addressing us, Amritasya Putra, man of son of immortality. Here mortality means misery and immortality means ananda, means bliss. So we are son of bliss, we are son of ananda. There should not be any misery in our life. He is assuring that man of perfection is assuring that we are son of immortality. And he is also saying that Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayana, that I have known that supreme truth. I have known that person who is shining. I have known that person who is almighty, who is ever existent, ever conscious, and ever blissful. So, and whom, if you know, you will pass, you will overcome all miseries of your life. Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayana. There is no other way. So to be holistically developed, this prescription is made by some person who himself is holistically developed. So we should follow. Now, in the research of holistical development, our researchers, the great researchers, observed that everything is available in market except peace or bliss, in other words. So peace and bliss, peace means Shanti, bliss is Ananda. They are actually same thing. So this peace or bliss is not available in the market. It does not come from outside. Okay. So you have to search peace or bliss inside. So you have to search for it inside, not outside. That they have realized from their research. And they set the goal of life. Our goal of life should be Atyantik Dukkha Nivritti. We have to remove all kinds of miseries. And automatically we will get Paramananda, Sankrapti, means the Paramananda, means the bliss will come. So that is the goal they set for a life, for a human life. So what are the miseries? They are adhibhautik, adhidaivik, adhyatmik. Means at that time, there are three types of miseries. So one may come from animals, one may come from natural forces, one may come from your body and mind, ailment of your illness of your body and mind. All these types of miseries you have to overcome. So what is the difference between misery, means dukha, sukha, and ananda? Let us see the difference between sukha, dukha, and ananda. So sometimes we see that sukha and ananda, they are same. We have an idea that they are same in meaning. But we have to differentiate between sukha, dukha, and ananda. So let us take an example that there are two football teams. You know that, many of you know that the famous football teams of Calcutta is Mohun Bagan and East Bengal. Suppose there is a match between Mohun Bagan and East Bengal. And in our childhood, in our student life, we were very much attached to these football matches. So in that match, there are two galleries. In one gallery, there are supporters of Mohun Bagan. In another gallery, there are supporters of East Bengal. So all are enjoying the match. So when Mohun Bagan attacks, the supporters of Mohun Bagan, they enjoy. Means they are getting sukha. They are happy. When East Bengal attacks Mohun Bagan, then supporter of East Bengal gets sukha. At the same time, supporter of Mohun Bagan gets dukha. When Mohun Bagan attacks, then supporter of Mohun Bagan gets sukha, supporter of East Bengal gets dukha. So they are actually oscillating between sukha and dukha, all the supporters. Then who is getting ananda? So any of the supporter is not getting ananda because they are oscillating between sukha and dukha, because they are attached to some team. They have some attachment, at the same time they have some aversion. They have some attraction, at the same time they have some repulsion. So this attraction and repulsion, or attachment and aversion, are the root cause behind sukha and dukha. Then in that match, who is getting ananda? The person who is not attached to any team, who is not biased. He doesn't have any attachment and aversion in his mind. His mind is even. His mind actually is same to both of the team. His attitude is same to both of the team, and he is enjoying the game. He is enjoying the art of football match. So this is the difference between sukha, dukha, and ananda. So we are oscillating between sukha and dukha. And there is something is very interesting to see that if you go for sukha, if you purchase sukha from market, then the market will give you dukha as a free gift. So they are actually come together. They come together. If you go for sukha, you automatically will get dukha. And sukha is actually relative joy, and ananda is absolute joy. This is the difference between sukha, dukha, and ananda. And our man of perfection and for holistical development, so we have to search for ananda. We have to give up our sukha and dukha. That is the basic postulate of this problem. And there is a shloka in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Ragadvesha vijukta Vishayanandriyascharan Atmavasyair vidhyatma prasadam adhigacchati. the self-controlled man, moving among objects with senses under restraint and free from attraction and aversion, attains to tranquility. So Ananda is our self. We are son of Ananda. We are son of immortality. That is inside, that is not outside. We have to discover it. It is covered. It is covered by many sanskars. We have to discover it. That is our problem in life. Okay, that is the way to get holistic development. Due to ignorance and illusion, we are captured by attachment and aversion, and we suffer from miseries, and we have to come out of this. What I am saying is looking theoretical, but I am coming to hard reality. What I am saying is true. Your reality proves that. Final Exit is a book written by Derek Humphrey in 1991, which was the bestseller in New York Times for some weeks. What is the content of that book? Is it a novel? It was bestseller, but it is not a novel, not a thriller. It's a book, How to Commit Suicide Flawlessly. Many of you have seen the film by Srijit Mukherjee, Hemlock Society, the Hemlock Society. The really Hemlock Society exists, and they published this book. And it was written for terminally ill persons, but it was used by other persons. About 7,500,000 copies were sold in USA and Canada, and 5 lakhs elsewhere. And lakhs of people committed suicide holding this book in hand. In Japan, 1993, a book was published, The Complete Manual of Suicide. Millions of copies were sold and many people committed suicide, including junior school students using this book. In France and other countries, such books are also, manuals or books are available. This is the situation. Can you say that this education gives us holistic development? Is it a sign of holistic development, committing suicide, suffering from depression? Are we being holistically developed through this education system? This question comes. So what is the scenario of India? Last year, I went to some induction program in a university of the state, another university, which is very good university. And after my session, the students were sharing their ideas, feedbacks, etc. And some of them confessed their personal experiences. Some of them confessed they are suffering from depression, etc. They were very much emotional after this session. And some of them burst into tears. And teachers of that university took care of those students. They identified the students who were suffering from this problem. But still, after 2 months, it was noticed in the newspaper that one of them, I remember that student still now, he was sitting in the front bench and he was enjoying this lecture, and he committed suicide. So this is from my experience, my direct experience. In India, every hour one student commits suicide, and per day 28. This is the data compiled by National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB. In last 5 years, according to MHRD, 50 suicides were reported at IITs and 10 such cases in management schools. One more experience about another country, South Korea. So a few years back, a team from South Korea came to our university. The team was mind management team. They were actually roaming about the world with mind management program. So they were 5 in number in the team, and 2 students were there. So at the beginning, they sang some songs in English and Hindi to cheer us, and they maintained some artificial smile in their face always, whether the song is sad song or any other song. Okay, after their songs over, their senior most member, he started his speech. He was talking about his country. He told that Korea, the South Korea, got freedom in 1945. They were ruled by Japanese, and they were severely oppressed by Japanese rulers. And when they got freedom, they had nothing. No food, no resources, nothing. And this country has no natural resources like India. No natural resources. So they started from 1945. The only resource was human resource. And they utilized the human resource properly and developed rapidly, very rapidly, and come to a position today that in GDP, they are 4th largest in the Asia and 10th largest in the world. And in many industries, you know very well that they are among toppers. Then I was thinking, and in their lecture actually, interestingly, the person asked us, they actually, and they are manufacturing the Hyundai cars. They asked us how much time may be taken to manufacture a Hyundai car, complete manufacture. Then we started from months. Then he told that no, it is less. Then we came to days. No, it is less. Then we came to hours. No, it is less. Then actually we lost. We got lost. And some of the audience told that in minutes, they told no, it will be less. Then I could not answer. They told that they take 30 seconds to manufacture to build a car. Okay. So you know that is they're assembling or they have some system. Okay, it takes only 13 seconds. So I was thinking that if they are so advanced, if they are so prosperous, if they are so developed, why they are roaming about throughout the world with this mind management team? What is the problem? The person who was giving the data about their success in many fields, the climax came at last. He told in a lower voice, there are 2 other fields. They are among toppers. One is suicide and another is divorce. South Korea is highest among the members of OECD in suicide. And over last 5 years, from 2015 to 2019, in In 2015, 4,947 students aged between 9 years to 24 years committed suicide, and it was 4,947 in 2015, and 2019 it was 9,828, almost double. So the situation is very grave in South Korea, and every day 26.9 young men attempt suicide or self-inflicted injuries every day. So that is their problem. And they are searching for peace. They are searching for mind management. So this is the situation of South Korea. And if I consider the whole world, then I will see that 350 million people suffer from depression. 350 million people suffer from depression. And 8 lakh people die by suicide each year, which is roughly one suicide every 40 seconds. And suicide is the second leading cause of death for those aged between 15 to 24 years. Suicide is the leading death and disabled. Suppose educated person are disabled, then education. So we have to give importance to holistic development. The development is not holistic, means all round. Okay, it is partial development. This doesn't work. The core of the development is missing. The development is peripheral development, not the core development. So this is quite alarming. Situation is going worse day by day. And the case of depression is increasing and case of counseling is also increasing. So counseling cannot manage depression because the statistics shows that the cases of counseling is also increasing, cases of depression is also increasing. So counseling cannot control. Then who will cure? Who will take the responsibility to cure? What is the way? Is there any way at all? So I think there should be proper education system which will develop every student holistically, means which will give all-round development. Then if education takes the responsibility, what is education? What will be the definition of education? Definition is very important thing because this definition is creating many problems, mostly in humanities and social science. The terms are defined in various ways. If there are more than one definition for a term, that will create confusion. And that confusion leads to intellectual ignorance. And total education system may suffer if the definition of education is wrong. Do you know any complete definition? So definition must be complete and unified. Complete means it cannot be questioned, means it cannot be crossed, because every explanation will be there in the definition. If it is crossed, it will take the challenge and it will explain everything. That is complete definition and unified definition. So this complete and unified definition of education must be there. If the definition is wrong, then total system, the total structure will be actually broken. So the definition we can accept, which is given by Swami Vivekananda. The education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. The definition is very simple, very concise, but it should be explained. Education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. The main question is, what is perfection? And what is meant by already in man? So perfection is the main word. That means perfection stands for holistic development. What is meant by perfection? Perfection means we expect that when we are in education, we are taking education, we must be perfect in our knowledge and action, so that we may be we become a good professional. If I am an engineer, I should be a good engineer, means I should be perfect in engineering knowledge and application. If I am a mathematician, I am to be perfect in mathematics. If I am a writer, so actually we need perfection. For perfection, we are taking education. But the question is, suppose there is a perfect engineer, because he knows the subject very well, he can apply his knowledge also. So this is called skill. So the skill is the perfection. So he's a skilled engineer, but he takes cut money, he is involved with cut money, he is involved with corrupt practices. And what will be the outcome? The bridge he built may be destroyed very quickly. So this happens for a doctor, this happens for any professional, that he may be a good professional, skilled professional, but he doesn't have the morality. So this education system did not give him morality. This education system gave him skill only. So perfection has two types. There are two types of perfection. We can say external perfection and internal perfection. External perfection is skill, and internal perfection is character. So both perfection is to be achieved. When both perfections will be achieved, then the education will give you holistic development. Then the question is it possible? Is it possible in an education system to provide both kinds of perfection, external and internal perfection? Is there any evidence in past? Is there any example? Yes, there is example. In ancient India, the education system, there are two types of vidya, para vidya and apara vidya. They told that dve vidye veritabhye iti hasma yad brahmavido vadanti paracho iva aparacho. So para vidya stands for internal perfection, and apara vidya stands for external perfection or skill. So both type of vidya used to be taught in the ancient Indian system, but we have not adopted that. So what is Aparavidya and what is Paravidya, that is to be very much clear. So suppose somebody reads the holy scriptures, religious scriptures. That means he is attaining internal perfection. That means he is attaining Paravidya. No. Any bookish knowledge, any kind of bookish knowledge is Aparavidya. Paravidya is when you will know yourself. It is self-realization. When you will realize yourself, then you have attained the Paravidya. And it is practical in nature. It is not theoretical. You can read many books, you can attend many lectures, you can attend many classes, but to be internally perfect, you have to practice something. So that is related to your mind, that is related to your antar jagat. So they are saying that Tatra para Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, Shiksha Kalpa Vyakaranam Nirukta Chando Jyotishamiti. They are saying all the Vedas, Rig, Sam, Yaju, Atharva, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaran, Nirukta, Chanda, all the Shastras, they are Aparavidya. If they are just theoretically learned, when somebody experiences his inner world, when somebody observes, self-introspects his mind and practice day by day, that will lead him to Paravidya, means internal perfection. So there are 3 steps: Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You can listen from your teachers, you can study your books, that is Sravana. Then Manana is you reflect in your mind, you think over that, and you remove your doubts, and you reflect in your mind. That is Manana. But Sravana Manana cannot give you internal perfection. You need the 3rd step, the Nididhyasana, meditate. You have to meditate on that thought so that it becomes your part of nature. Which says, educate with ideas. So the idea book, you can look up those ideas, you can write, you can give. That does not make you. You have to do our work. There are 2 the laboratory. In a laboratory, if you want to have external laboratory search, so you some instruments, needs materials, you space experiment, and the hope is with you, because our sages have said that you are son of Amrita. Ask me. Person is important.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
There are some excess.
Hello?
Sir.
Your voice is breaking.
Voice able?
Voice
Hello?
is breaking. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Breaking. So, but
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir. Sir, your voice is breaking.
like that. Hello?
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Sir, maybe you have network problem.
Okay. Yes. I'm
Sir, we are not hearing you.
now I'm connected. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yes, sir, yes.
Maybe you can switch off your video for some time. Let the link be stable and then you can switch on your video.
Okay. So when your self or Atman is realized, the supreme truth is also realized. And at that time, this Paravidya, or total perfection, total internal perfection is achieved. So, for example, that what is the example of internally perfect person? There are many great persons, and the proof is that if somebody practice for internal perfection, you will notice that if you also practice this internal perfection, then you will notice that your personality will be changed gradually. You will notice the gradual change in your personality. And the difference between apara and paravidya, external perfection and internal perfection, is in the sense of science, this world is a phenomenal world. It appears to us. As it appears, we want to know. But if as it is, we are not able to know. So we are actually, Aparavidya deals with as it appears. Paravidya deals with as it is. Our scientific research is constrained by the time, space, and causality. So it is relative to time, space, and causality. It always discovers the truth as it appears within the time, space, causality, within reasoning. But Paravidya is, it wants to know as it is. It goes beyond time, space, and causality. It has to go beyond reasoning also. Your Aparavidya is egocentric. Everything you are knowing, you are doing, the sense of I, sense of ego is the center, is at the center. And Paravidya is soul-centric. From ego to soul, this is the journey from external perfection to internal perfection. So when you emphasize on your ego, you are under external perfection, you are under Aparavidya. When you forget your ego and you always try to see your soul, you try to acquire the knowledge of your soul, You want to go to the soul, then you are actually, your journey is towards paravidya, means internal perfection. So what is the benefit of this internal perfection? That it increases power of mind, it increases control of mind, it removes attachment and aversion, so sukha and dukha will be removed. And as your mind is more concentrated and more powerful, you will achieve your aparavidya also with very high efficiency. So it will increase your both perfection. If you are internally perfect, then your internal perfection is increased. At the same time, as your mind is more powerful, more concentrated, so you will achieve your aparavidya also with greater efficiency. So that is why internal perfection or paravidya should be the core of education. But the core is missing. The core of education is missing. That's why worldwide this depression, this suicide, this miseries, everybody is experiencing. But what is internal perfection and how it can be attained? Why is it called man-making? Here enters the concept of properties or dharma. So concept of dharma means concept of properties. So dharma means 3 plus 1, means which sustains, which holds. And who holds? We know, we can say that properties hold. Because if you see the solid material, you call it solid because it has certain properties. Okay, it obeys some properties. It exhibits some properties. So through the properties, this solid material is known and it is identified. So the properties actually hold the solid material. So properties of matter. We have seen that the book in physics, physical science, the properties of matter. And properties of matter actually hold matter and give them identity. Properties of solids distinguish solid from liquid and gas, and they are fixed by the nature. So solid itself cannot change its own property. If one fine morning solid appeals to nature that I get bored to behave always in the same way, for a change let me behave like a liquid, the nature will not allow. The non-living things, sir, the materials are not allowed to change their properties. So those properties means dharma, is fixed for the non-living materials, non-living things. But what is our experience about living things? Suppose take an example of single cell amoeba, and you take a large piece of stone, you keep them together in Calcutta. You will observe that the temperature of stone is determined by the surroundings, as it is in thermal equilibrium with the surroundings. Okay, the temperature of Calcutta is the temperature of the stone. But for amoeba, the amoeba is not in thermal equilibrium with the surroundings because it maintains its own body temperature. If you keep amoeba and that piece of stone in Darjeeling, then you will observe that the stone has come to the temperature of Darjeeling because it is in thermal equilibrium with the surroundings, but amoeba maintains its own body temperature. So that is the difference between living and non-living. Non-living properties are fixed by the nature. They cannot change it. But the properties in living body, there is some flexibility. And from small amoeba, if we go to more complicated living bodies, following the route of evolution, then ultimately we reach human being. Okay. So what is the question is, what is the properties of a human being? What is the dharma of human being? What will be the answer? Because I have told that these properties are not fixed in living being, and they are being flexible, more flexible, more flexible. Following the route of evolution, they are being more complicated, more complicated. And at last, it is so complicated in case of human being that you cannot find any particular property of a man. You will see that the flexibility is so large that there are contradicting properties. They are pairwise opposite. Man can speak truth, man can tell lie, man can love, man can hate, man can do good to others, man can do bad to others. So there are contradicting properties in man. Then if you collect the positive properties, suppose they are opposite to each other, pairwise opposite, so you keep one column in a set and another column in other set. There are two sets. You can name them positive, that one set is positive, that love is positive, the to tell truth is positive. So you keep the positives in a set, keep the negatives in a set. Now if I ask you that which set is the property of man, positive set or negative set, which one is the property of man? There are three possible answers. Somebody can say that, okay, the positive column or positive set is the property of man. Somebody will say, no, the negative. I see from my experience that men are very much negative, so negative are is the property of man. And some other person will say, no, actually the property of man is actually mixed, both positive and a mixture of positive and negative. So what will be the correct answer? What will be the correct answer? Which one is the property of man? Property means, I mean that inherent property. Okay. What is the inherent property of man? Is it positive, negative, or both? So this is a big problem to answer. So when this big problem comes, any subject needs some basic postulate. That may be science also. And the structure, the further development depends on the basic postulate. Further development means the further logical development, logical structure of the subject is based on basic postulate. So basic postulate is the foundation. If you think of geometry, there are some postulates given by Euclid. The whole geometry is based on that foundation. If you go for classical mechanics, the Newton gave some basic postulate, and the classical mechanics is based on Newtonian postulates, basic postulates. If you go for electrodynamics, there are some Maxwell's equations which are basic, and the total electrodynamics is based on that basic postulate. If you go for quantum mechanics, there are some basic postulates. So basic postulates are always believed. They cannot be questioned. You have to take it as granted. You have to accept it as granted, and then you prepare your logical structure on that. The starting point is not reason. Starting point is belief. So basic postulates come from great mind, who are Satyadrashta, Rishi, man of perfection. So they can see the truth and they can give some basic postulate. So suppose we want to establish the structure of values and ethics. These two things, these two terms are nowadays they are uttered very frequently, values and ethics, values and ethics. But what is the basic postulate of values and ethics? Where you will found them, where you will establish them. Somebody tell you, okay, you have to achieve values, you have to achieve ethics. What is that? So why? So values and ethics, if you want to establish, you need a foundation. That foundation is this basic properties, inherent properties of man. Your basic postulate says that the positive column, the positive set is the inherent property of man. Means man is inherently positive. He is not negative at all. He is inherently positive. So, if he is inherently positive, then we can say that if you take the summation of all positive qualities, you can say this is divinity. So in the language of Swami Vivekananda, religion is the manifestation of divinity already in man. In case of education, he says, education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. And in case of religion, means dharma, it is not that religion means religion in the in general sense. That is different thing. Okay, means dharma means properties. I have explained through properties actually. So these positive properties, if you take the summation of all positive properties, that is divinity, and that is inherent in man. Swamiji is saying religion is the manifestation of divinity already in man. So this divinity is internal perfection. You have to manifest it. You have your internal perfection within you only, but we don't know how to manifest it. That is the problem. So the process of manifestation is called religion. So there are some means to achieve this internal perfection, to manifest this divinity. So that is defined as dharma. And we see here that education and this dharma, they are related, because education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. And external perfection is skill, what we are achieving from our institutions. But internal perfection is, about internal perfection, education is silent. That internal perfection can be achieved through this manifestation of divinity. So this dharma is a part of education. It is for the internal perfection. Okay, it is the core of education in this sense. So internal perfection is nothing but the manifestation of divinity already in man. So it is required in your holistic development. Okay. Now the remaining question is, so what about the negative qualities? How the negative qualities come into mind, into man? So that is through our sanskar. What is sanskar? Whenever you think or you act, every thought and every action leaves an impression in your subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind stores it. And your every action and every thought leaves some impression in your subconscious mind. And if that thought and that action is negative, then some negative impression is stored. So impression, when negative impression is stored, if it is positive, then positive impression is stored. Okay. The impressions in subconscious mind may be activated. Once again, it will be activated when similar stimulant comes, means similar situation comes. Suppose a person, he was not a thief at all, but someday he stole something. And at that time, actually, he was very much embarrassed. But stealing activity created some impression in his subconscious mind. Second time, he was inspired by that impression which was stored in his mind. Third time, he is more inspired to steal from that impression stored in mind. So his summation of impression is called sanskar. They are actually covering that positive core. So we are naturally positive, we are inherently positive, but our negative actions, negative thoughts create some impressions which is stored as sanskar in our subconscious mind, and that is covering our inherent nature which is positive. So the dharma or religion is to remove the cover. You have to remove the cover of negative impressions, negative sanskar. Then your positive will be manifested. That is the task. Okay. So how to remove that negative cover? If you do positive things, that will actually nullify your negative cover. Okay. So do positive thinking, do positive action, then only your positive sanskar will be stored, your positive impression will be stored. That will inspire you to do more positive thought, to do more positive action. So in that way, you will increase your positive sanskars, which will nullify your negative sanskars. That is the rule of the game, actually. So this is possible. This is possible that we are inherently positive and we are able to manifest that also. And that will be our positive character. We can attain that positive character. And at that point, we will have no depression. We will be full of pleasure, full of joy, full of bliss, and no negative thing will affect us at that time. So that character, what is character? Means character also you can explain in this way, that means in terms of thoughts and actions. So if you sow thoughts, you will reap actions. Because your thought only provoke you to do some action, to take some action. So if you sow the seeds of thoughts, you will reap actions. Then if you sow the seeds of actions, you will reap habit. If you sow the seeds of habits, you will reap character. So in this way, the personality changes, and this internal perfection means internal perfection. If somebody practices internal perfection, then his personality will change gradually. It is noticeable. You can notice it. Okay. So that is real. That is not conceptual. That is hard reality. It can happen because there are many examples in world. And I will finish this talk with some case study. Means we need example. What I am saying, that is true or false, that is to be verified by example. So let us take the example of Rabindranath Tagore. Okay. So this person faced many miseries in his life. The greatest misery comes from death. The greatest sorrow comes from the death of nearest and dearest ones. In the life of Rabindranath, there is a series of deaths, and some of them are: in 1875, his mother Sarada Devi died. He was then of 13.5 years old. In 1883, his eldest brother-in-law, Sarada Prasad Gangopadhyay, died. After 4.5 months, his sister-in-law, who was very close and affectionate to him, Kadambari Devi, died. In 1900, his nephew, Balendranath Tagore, died. In 1902, his wife, Mrinalini Devi, died. In 1903, his daughter, Renuka, died. In 1905, Father Devendranath Thakur died. In 1907, his son Somindranath Thakur died. In 1918, his daughter Madhuri Lata died. In 1925, elder brother Jyotirindranath Thakur died. In 1926, eldest brother Dijendranath Thakur died. In 1932, grandson Nitindranath died. So there is a series of deaths in his life. He had to bear all these sufferings with a calm and quiet attitude. He was never bewildered and stopped all works to mourn. Never he thought sympathy. Never he sought sympathy from others. He never stopped his work. And what was his inspiration behind this? How it was possible? I told that there are persons, there are examples where internal perfection, you can see that the root of this internal perfection is his religious life, his spiritual practices. And he used to follow Upanishad and he used to practice also. There was a sloka in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Manasai vedamaptabyang neho nanasti kinchana mrityah sa mrityumapnati ya iha naneva pasyati. If we see differences in this universe, if we see everything is separated from every other thing, if we see myself separated from others, then we have to suffer. He wrote a song where he expressed this idea. It is like this. Mritu se dhare mritur roop dukho hoy he dukher koop tuma hote jabe hoye bimukh apunar pane chai তোমার অসীমে প্রাণ মন লয়ে যত দূরে আমি ধাই. And then from which viewpoint we have to see this world. So that depends on the viewpoint. From which viewpoint we should see this universe to overcome all these sufferings. Because this sloka says, and Rabindranath says that misery will attack you. Your death, the misery from death will attack you. If you see differences in this universe, if you feel yourself separated from others, if you see separations in this universe, but if you see oneness, then no grief can touch you. No misery can touch you. So in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is saying, Yomang pasyati sarvatra, sarvang cha moi pasyati, tasyahang na pranashyami, sacha mena pranasyati. He who sees me in all things and sees all things in me, he never becomes separated from me, nor do I become separated from him. This assurance is there. So if one practices to see only oneness, then he must be successful in developing holistic personality. Kathopanishad says, Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut vijanata tatra ka moha ka soka ekatvam anupasyata. To overcome all kinds of griefs and sufferings, one has to stop seeing differences, separations. He would see everything is connected to every other thing, leading to oneness, and he himself is same as oneness. So this is called spiritualism. This is called adhyatmikata. The definition of adhyatmikata or spiritualism is that it is a theory of establishing a relationship between any two entities of this universe. Any two entities are connected. They are related to each other. That's why it is told Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. When a person sees in this way, then no misery can touch him. The problem of depression, problem of suicide will not be there at all. So for that you need some practice. Practice is more important than theory. So you have to practice something. And when you see oneness, if there exists one and only one, then there is no provision for pain and pleasure. The pain and pleasure, they are two. There cannot be two. There is only one. So there is no difference between pain and pleasure, sorrow and happiness. Both pain and pleasure becomes ingredients of actual happiness or bliss. Rabindranath is saying in his song, হাসি কান্না হীরা পান্না দোলে ভালে কাঁপে ছন্দে ভালো মন্দ তালে তালে নাচে জন্ম নাচে মৃত্যু পাছে পাছে তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই কি আনন্দ কি আনন্দ কি আনন্দ দিবারাত্রি নাচে মুক্তি নাচে বন্ধ সে তরঙ্গে ছুটি রঙ্গে পাছে পাছে তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই মম চিত্তে নিতে নৃত্যে কে যে নাচে তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই তাতা থই থই. So I stop here. So I am stopping here with the message of feeling oneness. That is the medicine, only medicine for achieving holistic development, and we should try for it. Thank you. So can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
Okay,
can hear
okay.
you.
If you have any question, then you can ask. Or
Students, if you have any question or you can interact with Sriyankar sir, who has given so relevant topic and in so easy way to understand, and very much relevant in current unrest situation. So thank you very much, sir, for your
Thank you.
excellent deliberation. Now, students, you can unmute yourself or you can post your questions. You can unmute and you can interact with sir. Okay, let they unmute and ask sir any question. I have a question in mind. Often I search for an answer, that whenever any bad thing happens in our life, then we always try to ask like the Almighty or maybe someone that why this is with me, if something bad or any misery happens. But if any good or success comes, then we never ask this question. Never that comes to mind. But whenever anything bad or anything misery or sorrow comes in our life, then often we ask the question that why me? There are so many people in this world. Why this happened to with me? So, sir, if you can just explain.
So the root cause behind this is a feeling actually. Okay, this is personal feeling, and this comes from the viewpoint, your viewpoint, that there is some agreeable and disagreeable. So some situation is agreeable for me, some situation is disagreeable for me. So we want only agreeable things and we don't want disagreeable things. So that is, as we demarcate between these two, that is the cause of our pain, or that is the cause of our sufferings. That's why in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is saying, Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labhu jaya jayu tasmad yuddhaya yujyasya naiva papam avapsyasi. Means sukha and dukha, you see them same actually. You see the agreeable and disagreeable, both are same. Okay. So sukha dukkha samay kritva labha labho jaya jayo. The profit and loss is same. Your win and defeat, they are also same. If you have this samatva buddhi, if you have this evenness of mind, then actually there will be no question of suffering, no question of misery. So that is to be developed actually. Okay. And very often actually, if somebody is not egocentric, if somebody is God-centric or soul-centric, he always explain in this way that whether it looks bad, means even if it looks bad, but it is ultimately it will be good for me because he has given me this. So he cannot give bad things to me. So if such belief is there, and that comes from God-centric or soul-centric attitude, not from egocentric attitude. Egocentric attitude is selfish. Means he will always judge which one is profitable, which one is loss, which one is agreeable, which one is disagreeable, and he has to suffer for that because every time he cannot win, every time he cannot make profit. Okay, that is the. I think I have given the answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes. That is the difference of thinking, and that makes one's sorrow for a simple reason, maybe, or someone is happy.
Because
maybe
we are keeping our ego or self, means the lower self actually. Higher, we are not in higher self. There are many standards of self. Okay. So that's why actually we are suffering. If we are under lower self, then we have to suffer. If we go to the higher self, then there is no suffering. Only ananda is there. No sukha dukha is there. Okay.
yes, this example of sukha, dukha, and ananda is really so simple way you have explained to all of us, but it is so difficult also to think in this
difficult
way.
means actually because we difficult means suppose you did not learn calculus. Okay. Suppose if somebody give you a problem from calculus, then it will be difficult for you because we are not learning these things. That is the main problem. We are not learning at all. Okay, this is the problem. That's why the problem becomes difficult. To me also the problem is difficult. So I am also not learned. Okay. But this is the cause behind this. Okay.
There is a question from audience.
Yeah, question.
There is a question from the audience. So, sir, I want to ask that if someone is suffering through some depression, then how can I cope that?
How can I?
How can I cope that? How can I deal with that?
Sir,
One second,
someone is suffering through some depression, then how can he deal with that?
Oh.
Someone is suffering through some depression, then how can he deal with that?
That is actually first he has to go to doctor first. Okay. Because the primary medicine should means primary consultancy or medicine should be there. Okay. Then actually he will study these things for permanent relief. Okay. Suppose somebody is already ill, he will not be able to practice these things, spiritual things. At that moment, actually, he needs some relief. So he should go to doctor, he should consult doctor. And after some temporary relief, he should give attention for permanent relief through spiritual practices.
Thank you, sir. Sir,
yes.
There is one more question. Sometimes we feel so low, cannot concentrate on anything, don't feel the energy to get into something. How to motivate ourselves at that time?
So the simple way is you have to practice yoga, because it will act in your physical level first, and ultimately if you do yoga and pranayam both, then your physical and mental level will be controlled to some extent. Then you have to do meditation, because everything you have to do in proper way, by proper guidance. Okay, and this is the way, because our restlessness comes from because our mind is restless. Okay, so to concentrate your mind, there are many exercises. Okay, another one thing is that Buddhist meditation is there. Okay, in Buddhist way you can do meditate. Another is that if you are if you have devotion, then actually devotional songs, devotional culture also can help you. That actually you have to see that which one is comfortable to you. You need devotion, you need yoga pranayam meditation, or you need Buddhist meditation, or these things are actually all are actually equivalent. Okay, or some other religious or spiritual practices. There are many ways for this, but without anything actually you cannot recover this. Okay, you have to go through some proper practices. First time you may start with yoga, pranayam, etc. That is the common to all. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any question?
Audience, do you have any more question? Then you can ask. Participant, do you have any question? I think there is no more questions.
Okay.